Welcome back to Women's Strength and Bodybuilding. My name is Mark, and it looks like Natalia Abraham Coelho was able to get a little bit of redemption after coming in second place at this year's Olympia by snagging a first place win for the year at the 2023 Atlantic Coast Pro. Let's get into a quick recap of the results. But before we get started, please like the video and leave a comment for Natalia. Some of you know she's really active on this channel because she's one of our favorites. So if you're lucky, she might even like your comment. You never know. And subscribe to stay up to date with the competitors and shows I cover. So yeah, the 2023 Atlantic Coast Pro only had physique, wellness, and bikini. No women's bodybuilding, which is a drag, but whatever. In first place was Natalia, and I'm so glad she was able to get another first place win to add to her resume in 2023. And just to be totally honest, this show wasn't even close. Natalia had this one in the bag by a mile, and I guess you'd expect just that from this year's runner-up at the 2023 Women's Physique Olympia. I still think she should have been first. It really seems like she's always in shape. I mean, year-round, she always looks killer. And don't forget that she's still really young, at only 27 years old. So God willing, she still has a really long career ahead of her. This girl's got so many first place wins, it's crazy. I tried to make a video about it, and it was super hard to track down just how many first place wins Natalia has over her career. I'll link the video here, so watch it, then be sure to check her pinned comment, because she added a couple shows that I missed. But it's a lot, and I'm talking like, she might get into the Guinness World Book of Records here. But yeah, this was pretty typical for Natalia. Perfection in every pose, fluid transitions, and she's really the best in the business in my opinion. It looks like she might need to size up a little bit more in order to displace Sarah Villegas at next year's Olympia. But all in all, I'd say ending the year with 3 gold medals and 1 silver medal is still a phenomenal achievement. She's got a lot to be proud of, and a lot to be excited about. So congrats, Natalia, well deserved. In second place was Jeannie Feldman, and to give you some context, she came in 9th place at this year's Women's Physique Olympia. I didn't even cover her on my Olympia recap, because I tend to only focus on the top 5, but she did win the Tampa Pro this year for Women's Physique, and she looked pretty good. It seems like her conditioning may have slipped a little bit since then, specifically in the midsection. It kind of goes back to my point about Natalia constantly being in peak condition year-round. For most other competitors, I think it's a very fluid thing, and depending on competitors' prep and timing, they might end up leveling up or leveling down. Jeannie still looked great, but definitely wasn't within striking distance of Natalia. She might have been if she had brought her conditioning that she had at the Tampa Pro, but I guess there's always next year. Coming in 3rd place was Elena Aviles Romero, and I don't know, I might have put her in front of Jeannie. She really dominated the back and side poses, and had a lot more detail and feathering in her glutes and hamstrings. Jeannie might have had more aesthetic proportions, and maybe a better frame, but I'm not really seeing it here. Elena really seemed to have brought that next level of conditioning. This past year in May, she won the Optimum Classic Pro, and also placed 6th at the St. Louis Pro, then went on to place 11th at this year's Olympia. So congrats to Elena. In 4th place was Winsome White, and for the most part I'd agree with the placing. For her, I'd say it's about adding more size, conditioning, and tightening up the critical areas like the midsection and glutes and hamstrings. She placed 4th at the Rising Phoenix this year, and I didn't even cover women's physique at that show, because unlike the women's bodybuilding division at the Rising Phoenix, the women's physique division had absolutely no star power associated with it. Women's bodybuilding had the top 2 Olympia competitors, but the Rising Phoenix women's physique was not on that same level at all. Maybe if Winsome can add some more size, tightness, and conditioning, she can move up a placing next year. And rounding out 5th was Marysel Cruz, and she's another competitor that needs to work on a little bit more size and conditioning, especially in the back poses. She did move up 3 placings from her 8th place finish this year at the Daytona Pro, so I'm glad she was able to improve. And that wraps it up for the 2023 Atlantic Coast Pro Women's Physique Division. I'm so glad Natalia was able to get yet another win, and I wanted to make this video specifically to highlight her achievements over this past year. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm not too sure if we'll have many other buzzworthy shows left for the rest of the year, but if there are, I'll definitely cover them for you guys. Please be sure to like the video, leave a comment about your support for the champ, and subscribe to stay up to date on all the best women's bodybuilding shows and physique competitors.